Another story getting a lot of attention right now on click2houston.com is the case of a Barbers Hill High School student and his hair. Daryl George was first pulled from his classroom in August after school officials said his braided locks fell below his eyebrows and earlobes. They said it violated the district's dress code. Just this week, he was sent back to in-school suspension after attending an alternative for weeks. The school told him his hair was not in compliance when let down. His family argues the punishment violates the Crown Act, which prohibits race-based hair discrimination. KPRC 2's Mariah Ballard is here to talk about the Crown Act. Good morning, Mariah.
Good morning, Zach. Well, the Crown Act is a law that was signed by Texas Governor Greg Abbott earlier this year, which gives protection against race-based hair discrimination in the workplace and in K through 12 public and charter schools based on hair texture and protective styles. The acronym stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair. And joining me now for this discussion is KPRC 2 assignment editor Amber Baylor, who is sharing her experience as a mother of a child with locks. Good morning, Amber.
Good morning, Mariah.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. Now, as a mother with a child with locks, let me just run some facts by you. According to the Crown Act's website, more than half of Black mothers with children who wear their hair natural said that their kid was discriminated against before age 5. So share the experience you and Devin have had as he's taken his lock journey.
Well, it's funny that you say age 5. I don't feel like we were discriminated against before that age, but 5 is the age that we started his lock journey. And we call locks a journey because it takes patience.
Right.
It takes plenty of patience when you're growing anything. If you're a plant parent, when you're growing anything, it takes pure patience. And so for a child to even embrace that journey, that I feel like is great in itself.
Right. Now, how have the negative comments impacted him? Do people say things to him, or is it like the look, the feeling? How are the negative comments impacting him?
He doesn't speak about them much, but I can tell when it happens.
Yeah.
Just recently, a few months ago, he was telling me, his father, that he wanted to cut his hair. And so we had a conversation like, why do you want to cut your hair? Because he's always talked about he don't want to. But he said that it was a comment made that his hair was wild when he was playing basketball.
Wow.
And so we had to talk to him, encourage him, as any parent would do with any situation. You have to encourage your children at all times.
Right. Like you said, you and his father spoke to him about it. What are those words of affirmation that you give or you pour into him to let him know, reassure his confidence, give him a boost?
Yes, of course. First of all, this kid is the most confident kid that I know. If if Devin grace your presence, you're gonna know how confident he is. But I definitely always tell him to speak into yourself. When someone tells you it's wild, ask yourself that question back, like, is my hair wild? Talk to yourself again and know that I am confident in everything that I do.
Yes, look at those beautiful pictures on the screen, y'all, of Amber and her son. Now, in the article, you spoke out about the Crown Act and how it brought you comfort when it went into effect. So when you see stories like Daryl George, I mean, what do you think? This is a high school student, your baby's still a baby, but eventually he's going to have to cross that threshold. And what would you say to the high school him right now? Like, how does this make you feel that the Crown Act is not being respected how it should be?
Right, and just like you said, that's still my baby. That's Daryl George's his mom. She looks at it as his baby. My mom still look at me, your mom still look at you as your baby, right? And so no matter how old they are, they're still going to be yours. They're still your child, and you just have to look at them and say, the 17-year-old him one day is going to be bigger, taller, so that already gives people the image that, you're bigger. But why should this kid, because I say a kid 17, why should this kid be a threat just because of his hair, or why should he be discriminated against just because of his look?
Yeah. And speak to that student right now. Just speak to Daryl George and his mother. What were the words of affirmation that you told your son that you may want to transfer to him? He's going through a really tough situation. Being in school suspension since August, guys, that's a long time.
Yes.
It's his junior year and he can't even, hang out with his friends. So what are those words of affirmation? And for his mom, too, to keep that fight up?
Well, for Daryl, I would tell him to stay firm in what you're doing. You are setting records that you don't even know that you're setting right now. And it's not that you're being defiant. You are being true to who you are. And you are a beautiful being. And always know that. Now, to the mother, I know that it brings you fear. I know that it brings you a lot of hurt at times, because we hurt for our children regardless, you know, in any situation. But when they're being discriminated against, you never would think that your baby, the baby that you held, you know, that you carried, would be discriminated against, especially for something in this nature. So I would tell that mother to stay strong to what you are doing as well. Always encourage yourself and encourage your baby.
All right, Amber Baylor, we're here talking about it. And here on Click to Houston, we're taking a deep dive into the case. Go ahead and visit us at click2houston.com. Check out these stories and let us know. You can also join in on the conversation on some of these articles. Zach, back to you.
Okay, all good information, a great conversation to be having. Thank you, ladies. We appreciate it.